from the first of the program there at Riccarton to take us through it. We say good morning to you, Greg. Geez, great night of harness racing last night, but today the focus turns to the other code.
Yeah, very good morning to you, Aidan, and to the viewers. Was great fun last night at the park. More on the box seat about that on Wednesday night. But today at Riccarton Park, we have an exceptional program, of course, highlighted by a couple of $50,000 features. The Berkeley Stud Champagne for the 2-year-olds, which is a pretty deep race this year. So looking forward to getting into the preview of that, along with the Great Autumn, which over the 2,500 metres should be a terrific staying contest once again. And later on in the program, we have a deep 8th on the program over the 1,400 metres, which is, of course, the Daphne Bannon Memorial. Looking forward to that race as well. Let's get into it, Aidan.
Yeah, for sure. And like you say, Greg, there's a lot of depth right throughout the card, and they are good races. We'll bring Stephen Hunt in to have a look through these markets with us as well, including the first, which is this one, the High Gain Motivate Premier over the 2,000 metres. Smiling Assassin at 5.50, 2.15 comes up favourite ahead of Upscale, who's gone well in those Southern Guineas races at $6. Red Rose Warrior at 6.50 and 2.40. Stephen Hunt back with us. Stephen, what's the market lead on the first?
The big talking point is around number 9, Upscale, the 3-year-old filly taking on the older horses at rating 72 grade. Went up favourite during the week at $5.58 and it's gone out of turn to $6, now sits in that second line of betting where Smiling Assassin opened at $7, is now top line at $5.50. So a nice move around number 1, Smiling Assassin, Lisa Allpress doing the riding. Quite a deep field, many chances according to punters. A lot of speaking around Red Rose Warrior, 5.50. Got as high as 7, brought back into $6.50. Tony Two Chips, well supported, 8 into 7, particularly in the last hour or so around Tony Two Chips. Red River Rock from Barrier 10, you'll know he'll get back from that draw as he tends to do. But again, warm support this morning, 9 into 8. A little bit of speaking around All But Me, 18 into 15. And Welcome at that $18 quote is currently a losing liability. So outside the fave, they're willing to spec 4 or 5 runners also over the 2,000 metres.
Okay, really interesting. Let's have a look at the speed map for you in the opener as well. All But Me likely to get forward, and I guess that's where there is a little bit of support around. Upscale not with a great deal of early speed. And what about Smiling Assassin? Much the same. Interesting to see that market lead on Smiling Assassin, the first of a strong team for Michael and Matthew Pittman there today, Greg.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll catch up with Matt leading into about race number 4, because as per the norm, when the money's up, they're here at Riccarton Park and they are the stable to follow. So we'll get as much information as we possibly can from him. In the first, I actually went with Tony Two Chips. Of course, the Andertons have a great record here. Well, they have a great record everywhere, Aidan, but Tony Two Chips through this carnival has raced particularly well. Corey Campbell back on board today means he claims 2, and I think he's a terrific each-way chance, but there's many in this race. Red River Rock, definite chance in it, gets back, as you quite rightly point out, Stephen, but will be charging home. Top of the book, Smiling Assassin, yes, it's definitely got a chance, and the Luster back in winning form last time. But for me, the each-way bet in the first is Tony Two Chips. I think his price is about right.
Okay, nice price too. Let's get you on to the second. This is the Blue Star Taxis premiere over the 1,600 metres, and favouritism with the 5, the Growler. Tough old gate there, out there 17. Jason Laking to ride at 480 and 195. I'll have to do work at some point. You're getting Irish Express at $5 also from a wide gate. Tom Brown from an inside gate for Lisa Allpress at $5, and Elmer Costa, interesting runner here, another from a wide gate. This one brought down by Mike Brisbane from Awapuni with Jonathan Parks doing the riding. There's a few Northerners down there today, Stephen. Is there money for Elmer Costa?
Not at this stage, Aidan, even though you've got a $4.80 favourite in the Growler, who opened notably at $7.50, so a nice market mover around the Growler, who, to be honest, has been well supported since moving down the south, and it's been a horse that's probably gone in the favour of the bookies a lot of the times, the fact that it hasn't done the job yet since going down south, but they're willing to go again, probably back at Riccarton. It just found Blenheim just a bit too tight around the circumference of that particular surface, but the Growler, they're pretty keen back to Riccarton, 7.50 into 4.8. 4.8. Irish Express, who opened favourite at $5, got as high as 5.5, just back into the opening line of $5. Thom Brown's been the one that's been well spec'd this morning, Aidan. If there was a lead in the last hour or two, it is round number 8 in Thom Brown, $7.50, now short as $5. So if there was a lead, Thom Brown well supported today. During the week, the Growler, Irish Express, even though opened fave, and that's still in that second line of betting, and betting in terms of right in the mix, it might be running for us outside those top 3 in the market.
Okay, interesting that money, especially because Tom Brown and the Growler did clash last time out as well. There's a 2 kilogram swing in the favour, I think, of the Growler, if I've got that right. No, it's a half a kilogram swing on a 2-length margin. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Let's have a look at the speed map and see if that can't give us a lead here with Miss Diorella heading forward. Look at those wide draws. The Growler, Elmer Costa out there as well. Irish Express also out there as well. So that'll make a difference. And Tom Brown drawn barrier 3. They should be able to take up a handier position, you'd think, today. It's an interesting clash, isn't it, again, between the Growler and Tom Brown, but it's not just down to those two, Greg.
Yeah, both clearly in the mix here, Aidan. I settled with the Growler. You have to have a look at his run here and his only run at Riccarton Park, 2 starts back. Absolutely charged home behind Frankie the Fox, who's in again today and not without a chance either. So Mark Mack's gone for the Growler on top as well. I know it's drawn wide, but I actually spoke to Mike Breslin about Elmo Costa and it's in the same boat here. Really like the way this horse has gone in its 2 starts. Mike said very laid back. The trip away will clearly make the horse, but he's got a bit of time for him, so I've got him in the mix too, and he absolutely could win this race. Jonathan Parks, good strong rider. Irish Express, I know his winning form has always been on heavy tracks, particularly here at Riccarton Park, obviously, but he does go good enough when the tracks are a bit better, and you only have to look at his Ashburton run a couple back to remind you of that. So don't discount his chances, and clearly Tom Brown with Lisa Allpress aboard. Her book of rides here at Riccarton Park has seen her open up, I think it was $1.52, Aidan, and she'll well and truly justify that, I'm sure, today.
Yeah, and a lot of them that she knows too. I think just about the lot of them she's ridden at her last start. So moving on to the third, this one, the El Duto Rising Stars Premier over the 1,200 metres. More Wecker at 340 and 160. Allpress was aboard this horse for a last start win. I think we saw Lee Calloway jump on for that trial win. I think Tat'll Do at 650, 240 and On Point at 8 and 280. And this is the horse that we saw Terry Mosley pretty keen about when we spoke to him earlier. Stephen Hunt, as we get to you, is it about On Point or is it about the Terry Rapier?
Oh, clearly around More Wecker, $4.50. As I mentioned at the top of the show, clearly the best back runner in the 9-race card at Riccarton today, Aidan, around More Wecker. Again, Lisa Allpress has the mount around this key runner. 450 when we posted on Thursday. Got a short as 360 this morning. It's even come in a couple of notches to $3.40 now, trading More Wecker. In front of Shinka Tat'll Do. Now, interesting runner. We're prepared to lay this horse on the dead track conditions. If it'd come up maybe around that slow 7, slow 8, it might have been a different story. But around Shinka Tat'll Do, we're willing to lay that horse currently in that second line of betting at 650. Clara in that third line of betting, well supported, 8 and a $7.50. But outside that, there's not really too much to speak of. The like of Barabbas, feeling the love, 13 each of 2 have been friendless. So back to the favourite number 10, More Wecker, is a strong lead.
Yeah, and probably lands on speed as well. Let's have a look at the speed map provided to us by formpro.co.nz. Pasita also getting forward from a close gate, and Zarista likely to press forward from a wider gate, I would have thought here, Greg, as well. Not a bad race. There's some pretty handy sprinters going around.
Yeah, it's a deep race, isn't it? I settled with More Wecker. Look, up until her last half a dozen runs, she didn't win out of turn clearly. She kept on finding 1 or 2 to beat her, but she's got a lot stronger and her last start performance was outstanding. Lisa rode on that occasion. Has been back to the trials and beat Nakayama at the trials and did it nicely there too. So I think she's clearly the one to back here, and the punters are getting involved with her. Clara, the O'Reilly mare, another one that's strengthened up and continues to race well. So I think Terry Ray certainly has a great chance of Quinella-ing the race. Nowhere means my best value of the day, just because it doesn't seem to matter, Aidan, what type of race he's in. He's always there or thereabouts, and he loves Riccarton Park, and I think he was placed on this day last year as well. So I can see him being in the fight again, probably more for a place than a win. And I think Tat'll Do is much better than the last start performance, and back here at Riccarton Park, I think she'll have a part to play as well. But More Wecker, the one we'll go for in the third.
Okay, no love for On Point, but yeah, I'm with you on the Terry Rapier as well. On to the fourth, the Farewell Prom Queen, 1,200 metres, where Suggestive looks 6 and 230, and what looks to be a very open market, Stephen Hunt.
Yeah, $6 the field, but there's a nice lead around number 3, Suggestive Looks. The 6-year-old mare, by any suggestion, opened at $8, was as high as $7 When we opened this morning at around about 8:15, and it's now you see a $6 loose favourite, but strong lead around Suggestive Looks with Jonathan Parks doing the riding. Funny Face on the warm support on the favourite has been a notable drifter, 6 out to 6.5. Cabernet, 7 out to 750. If there was one outside Suggestive Looks, keep a close eye on the market around number 2, Little Flick. Most inexperienced galloper in the field, only having the 3 race starts for a win and a placing. But Little Flick has been well spec'd at that double figure quote during the week at $11, now trading at 8.
That's interesting. Good money around some of those key runners there in the 4th, which doesn't look easy. We're going to ask Greg O'Connor to decipher it for us, and maybe getting a little bit of a lead through the early speed of Mimi Mac. Thoughts here, Greg?
Nightmare, Aidan. Really tough race, toughest of the day, no doubt. Each way magic note for me, Michael and Matthew Pittman, Tina Komanahi, very good third last time, ultra consistent, been a winner here at Riccarton Park. I think it could end up in the right spot and therefore be extremely hard to beat. Showing some love for Lance Robinson and his team here with Funny Face. She is another one that's strengthened up, and I'm sure she'll go a great race today. Her last start performance had a lot of merit in behind Suda Torre, that was at Timaru. I like Funny Face today, certainly on an each way. Cabernet from the strong Anderton team with Jake Lowry continues to go good races, and I think Riccarton Park will certainly aid this mare by pins. And the other one I had in was Suggestive Looks. I just ruled a line through that last start, ultra consistent prior to that, and should have a part to play in race number 4.
Yeah, which is a difficult race, no question there, Greg. Race 5's a really intriguing one, and it's all about Buck Shellfish. You know, what is this horse going to deliver? And we just don't know. 260 about All About Magic, who has really, well, been the horse to follow in the 2-year-old ranks in the South, light up at 380, 142. And 650 about Buck Shellfish. We've seen the horse trimming from the opening quote, Stephen. Is that? Can you give us a reason why? Is there a bit of money, or is it just around respect?
Now, Down to Money, Aidan clearly holds 4 times more money than either of the favourites in All About Magic, and Light Up does Buck Shellfish. They came in as soon as betting commenced during the week on Wednesday from memory at that $8.50 quote, short of $7, I think, yesterday afternoon, now trading at $6.50, and shares that quote with our receipt. Just not sure if it's calculated money as it was when it was at Riverton and late scratching, comparing the field and the task it has today a few weeks ago at Riverton, but we'll soon see later on this afternoon. We could have a bit of an egg on our face if this horse does the job, and we've been hanging it out that $8-6 line for the majority of the week. But just back on the 2 favourites, All About Magic, best back runner and lead out of those top 2 in betting, off a peak of $2.90, now trading at $2.60, where Light Up has stayed solid at the $3.80. But the big talking point outside the 2 faves is obviously number 4, Buck Shellfish, in the first of our features today.
Yeah, and obviously it's a listed race, the Barclay Stud Champagne Stakes, but it's adding a real dimension to this race, isn't it? By having that unknown factor about Buck Shellfish, the Northern Visitor and Light Up, and also the hot favourite from the local Pittman barn of All About Magic. The speed says All About Magic gets forward. Also says that Buck Shellfish might have a little bit, even though we haven't seen anything of this horse at trials or on a public basis. Greg, I'm really looking forward to the Champagne Stakes, and I think this be a bit of it is about this unknown from the Savin Kirkland.
Yeah, it certainly adds to it, doesn't it? The race day form is well and truly exposed via All About Magic. She's 2.5 kilos better off than she was last time when Trifolium had her measure, but she's pretty smart, All About Magic. Light Up again, spoke to Mike Breslin about him. Trip Away will do him the world of good, but he does like him, no doubt about that at all. Here's All About Magic, finishing second behind Trifolium. You remember the prior 2 runs back in January and February was too good for Miss Sweet Pea. It's a good form line. What I loved about All About Magic, she was clearly in need of this, Aidan, but she kept on finding the line. I think the winner is pretty smart, and from the CD I think we'll see a bit more of it, but she really tries hard, All About Magic, and she'll be much improved off this run. Basically 3.5 weeks or 3 weeks since that run will only have aided her recovery, and I think she'll give you a great sight here. In saying that, I think Light Up's performance first up was very, very good, and from what Mike has told me, I think it'll be extremely hard to beat. And with a couple of us, Jason Tan and myself, have spoken to Sabin Kirkland this week. Cards close to the chest, yes. When I put it to him about the half to the last one, where does he sit? He said, he can gallop. That'll probably tell you enough.
And you just got to respect him. He's such a good conditioner of a horse as well. But it's an interesting race. Light Up's got that early speed as well. I can't wait for it. 1:52 start time for the 2-year-olds in the feature out of Riccarton today. Moving on to race 6. This one, the Angus Meets Great Autumn Premiere. Stepping up to 2,500 metres. D&G at 360 and 140 against Residential at 380, 142. 6.5 kilograms swing in the weights to D&G, and was pretty well spruiked by Jason Tarn on the first call yesterday. Stephen Hunt, what's the money lead?
Yeah, they're pretty keen on Jason's tip here, number 3, D&G. Aidan, $3.60 you see there trading, just under $3 with Paul just shaving just under 2,300. They're just crunching again a few numbers here. D&G rated around about a 27% chance at that $3.60 current quote, but holds 60% of total turnover. So I do believe later on this afternoon it might touch closer to $3 and its current price at $3.60 when we get close to race start time around D&G. So if you do like this individual, don't be late in backing this horse. I'd say get on in the next hour or so around D&G at 3.6. In front of Residential, a big query over the 2,500 metres, 360 out to 380 punters, just noting that. And Diorissimo, interesting runner, could start in that second line of betting as it stands third favourite, but does hold more money than the second favourite in Residential. And you might just get a form line around this individual earlier in the card, around the likes of Tony Two Chips, who contests one of the earlier races at rating 72 company. So that price might change depending on what that horse does earlier in the card.
Will be interesting because Greg was keen on Tony Two Chips, so it'll be interesting to see what he makes of the form leading into this. First, the speed map though. Residential getting forward, you'd expect D&G to be right on the speed as well, bringing that Cups form as well. And talking about Cups form, I heard a whisper that Oropuki Lad had an injury and hence why his defections here. So thoughts with connections there. Let's hope Oropuki Lad gets better quickly. But to you, Greg, in a really fascinating 2,500 metre event, who are you with?
She's 2 from 2, D&G. 2,600 metres of the Invercargill Cup, she finished second. We know she's finished second in the Wellington Cup, beaten a very short margin and won a great race in the Auckland Cup. She is by far and away the bet of the day for me. I'm not surprised she's into 360. I'm with Stephen. I think she will close about $3. The 2 kilo claim with Tanya Yonka, 53.5. There's so many ticks in all the right boxes here. This was her finishing third behind Who Dares Wins, who's just been in sublime form. Residential went great. I do have the trepidation about the 2,500. Who am I to question John and Karen Parsons, though? They're outstanding trainers, as we know, and they wouldn't be trying this unless they believed she would be able to get that distance. And she might not cop too much pressure, which will only aid her chances. Lisa All-Press rides, so that's a big tick in the box there. But I just can't get past the fact that D&G, when she steps to this level, we know she won the Metropolitan leading into the Cup as well. And potentially, Aidan, if she wins today, she might find herself heading to Australia to have a crack at a race that's an automatic entry race to the Melbourne Cup. More about that as the day unfolds.
Yeah, well, she really is an interesting runner, and she does have that record in the good Cups races as well. But Residential, well, you just can't underestimate her class. Let's move you on to the 7th. This one, the David Emerson Accountant and Consultant Premier. 1,600 metres. Neeson comes up favourite at 420. 650 for Chopin, who's been in great form. Herengawi, $6. Just push play at 750 as well. Capricosta's an interesting runner at $7. What's the market push here, Stephen?
Overall, very solid market for the rating 82 Gallopers over the mile weight, and hardly moved a price. If anything, we've notably drifted a few just to tighten up the overall percentage. Kicking off with Neeson, who sits at that top line of betting, 420, that was his opening line. Herengawi, 550 out to 6. Chopin, 7, got as high as 7.5, just bought back into $6.50 around Chopin. Capricosta, solid at 7s. Just push play. Here's your market move in the middle market. I know I said earlier on, overall it's a very solid market, but if there was a slight lead, it would be around number 9, just push play. $9 trading during the week, now short of $7.50. My question to you, Aidan, Lisa All-Press, did she have the choice around Herengawi and just push play? Because as it stands right now, she's opted for Herengawi, but there's more turnover on the 9, just push play.
I can tell you that Neeson was also on offer, Stephen, as well. So there's definitely, Hiringawi is a horse who she thinks might be, comparisons with the Rosewood, and we know what Rosewood did last winter. So I think she's pretty keen on Hiringawi. We get to you, Greg O'Connor, and what is a terrific race. This is a field with great depth and it should be competitive.
It should be, and it will be a great form line race as well. But here in Narway, first up here, Riccarton Park. Terrific performance, brave next time. I can see why Lisa's gone with him. He's the X-Factor horse, and if he reproduces either of those first two runs here, I believe he'll be taking this one out. You've got to remember, Aidan, that he carried 5 kilos more last time, so a huge advantage for him today for mine. Over Fire Lily, great first up. Lance Robinson, Corey Campbell, only the 52 kilos today, so very lightweight for him. She was second on this day last year, so races well at this time of year. Capricos is a very interesting runner. Has been here to Riccarton Park before when, of course, trained by Dawn and Peter Williams. Fresh up, Neil Ridley, BB Hong. Yeah, we've seen that a few times over the last few months, so you've got to respect that as well. And then probably to the top, Chopin just keeps on winning, so don't be discounting his chances. But here in Narway for me.
Yeah, it's reflective, I think, of a terrific card, the 7th of the program. Let's move you on to the second of the stakes races, and this one, the Daphne Banner Memorial Great Easter Stakes, where He Can Fly at 460 and 180. Defeated Prince Oz last time out. I'm surprised there's that much difference between them. 550 there. Kiwi Ida 480, the same race. Disturbance $6 was third in that same race. And outside that race, you're getting Dynamic at 850, Mora Bella at $9, Alfie at $10. Interesting He Can Fly, but I guess it sort of reflects that there's really solid support here, Stephen.
Yeah, there is, and you tend to find that with a horse that has a picket line picket fence form line around He Can Fly, who's looking to go 4 on the bounce. So if punters are reinvesting on that particular runner, and no surprise that they're doing that around He Can Fly, was a size $4.80 during the week, now trading at $4.60 in front of Kiwi Ida. Now Kiwi Ida, nice little lead round here, even though it's a competitive market around Kiwi Ida. $5.50 for the 4-year-old mare on opening, now trading at $4.80 and holds 3 times more money than the second best bat runner, which happens to be the favourite He Can Fly. Prince Oz solid in that third line of betting, got as short as $5, just back out to its opening line of $5.50. That's only just happened the last 30 minutes. Disturbance, always well supported, $6.50 into 6. Dynamic has to come and bring that form to Riccarton. It's been quite friendless, can't ride a ticket, 8 out to 8.5. And Morabella's been well supported and hovered around that 9.50 line. But the best lead happens to be the second favourite in Kiwi Ida, 5 into $4.80.
Yeah, that's interesting too. One thing we have a look at as we get to Greg O'Connor on this is just there's no speed in this race. The map says He Can Fly gets to the front, but there's no clear leader here, Greg. I just wonder whether that might be the undoing of some horses. How have you assessed this race?
Yeah, well, Jim Langan's made He Can Fly his best bet of the day, the racing manager here, and he's a pretty good judge, as is Neil Ridley. I found it hard to split the pair. I ended up going with Prince Oz. I think with luck and running, and Terry Mosley knows him well, I reckon he can win this race and win it at over the odds. He's done nothing wrong since coming south. He's a class animal, and even with the impost of 59.5, I think he's a terrific winning chance. He Can Fly for everything that everyone knows about him. He just keeps on winning. Disturbance is in wonderful form. Can't discount his hopes. Kiwi Ida you've talked about there. And the other one is Prosecco, who's down the bottom for Mike Breslin. Probably not a winning chance, but the horses here, they targeted this race to get some stakes race. Beautifully bred, this one, and they're hoping to pick up some black type today, and I reckon it's an outside trifecta in first for Hope, but I'll settle with Prince Oz.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Prince Oz isn't tighter as well. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one, Greg, as well. Let's move on to the last of the 9. This one, the Racecourse Hotel and Motor Lodge Premier. Market says King Kane at 550. That was second favourite when I first looked. Stephen, I thought it was it level with Carson River?
Level with Final Say, 650 each of 2 around King Kane and Final Say. King Kane solid at 550 now from that opening line of 6.5, where Final Say's got the drifts big time, out 2 full points, 650, now trading $8.50. King Kane, who got us big time 2 starts ago. They seem to be mapping these rating 72 races at the back end of the program, in particular the last race. So King Kane supporters, they're coming in again to finish off the day on the 9 race card at Riccarton. In front of Carson River, $7.50. Got a short as $6.50, just back out to $7. He's our secret, $7.50. Got as high as 8.5, back into $8. Final say we've already touched on, $6.50 out to $8.50. Valentia Victoria's been well supported. 17s on openings, Aidan. Now trading that single figure line at $9. And the best of the rest is Trudeau at 11. But there's 6 or 7 that have been spec from betting commencing on Thursday right up to now. So I think you just ride your ticket and have a crack if you'd like one, because it's a fairly even go. But if there was a slight lead, Valentina Victoria is a market mover, but down in single dollars invested, number 4, King Kane.
Okay, interesting. It was good last time out too. I was keen on Final Sun, but concerned about that drift now. Speed maps making it a pretty tricky one. Greg, what do you like?
Yeah, great race the last, isn't it? Whether you've had a good day and you want to make some more, or you've had a bad day, you can get out here because the favourite's going to start about $6. So, look, I went with King Kane. I reckon he's well placed again. He's such a tough horse. He'll be up on the speed and he'll take a heck of a lot of running down. So I'm with him. Final say he's got a great chance. Owen Patrick's the interesting runner, of course, out of the Corbett and Charles team. And I reckon if D&G wins earlier on, they'll be potentially going for a double here. So, yeah, I like Owen Patrick, even from the wide draw, it's in this. Carson River keeps on winning. He's our secret, might be the best blowout chance in the last. Very good contest, but I'll go with King Kane.
Okay, and the Simons involved in Owen Patrick too, and the Ellerslie run not too bad last time out. How are we playing the day? If we give you $100, how are you going to spend it?
I'm going to back D&G because I think she is the bet of the day, so I'll plonk $40 on her, Aidan, and I'm going to box up those 3 in the Champagne today because it is, without doubt, the most interesting race from a betting perspective of the day. So box up those 3 in a $20 box, Quinella. I haven't had a great record doing this, Aidan, so I've kept it as simple as I possibly can. D&G, the best bet of the day, and Nowhere Man, the best value, probably more for a place than a winning prospect.